It's time for Positively Kansas. Coming up, Kansans join the fight to end the pandemic. See how they're rolling up their sleeves to help stop COVID-19 dead in its tracks. Plus, it's been a family passion for 37 years, and the possibilities are endless. What some use to make sidewalks and buildings, this Yoder family uses to make art. We'll show you how they do it. And in our Kansas Wild Edge report, Mike Blair takes us to an out-of-the-way place where the wildlife watching can be spectacular. I'm Sierra Scott. Sit down and relax for another half hour of information and inspiration on Positively Kansas.
Positively Kansas is brought to you in part by...
Before investing your hard-earned money, make sure your financial advisor understands your objectives. Mark Douglas, CFP, serving our community for over 20 years, providing customized financial solutions that focus on the individual.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas serves more than 930,000 Kansans in various programs. Independent, member-owned. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, an independent licensee of Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association, supports KPTS.
Program support provided by the F. Price Kosman Memorial Trust, Entrust Bank Trustee, bringing you the Kansas Wild Edge segments on Positively Kansas.
South Central Kansans pitch in to help save the world from COVID-19. Wichita is one of the epicenters for vaccine trials conducted by the KU School of Medicine. Chris Frank shows us how it works and how the willingness of our friends and neighbors is proving to be a game changer to end the pandemic.
So that you can get paid for your participation in the study.
30-year-old Jorge Rodriguez of Wichita is applying to be a part of a COVID-19 vaccine study. Healthcare workers at the Center for Clinical Research at the KU School of Medicine, Wichita, are interviewing potential candidates to see if they qualify for the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine trial.
What was the largest gathering you have attended? And that includes church, parties, concert, wedding.
Rodriguez says he has no worries about taking a vaccine that's still under review before it's FDA approved at the time of this production.
It's one of a lot of potential trials that are going on right now, and it's another way to be able to help out, just another avenue of being able to solve this issue.
The world is desperate to end a pandemic that's killed and sickened so many and has overwhelmed hospitals and healthcare workers. A pandemic that has put so many people out of work, causing economic hardship. We generally think of the KU School of Medicine in Wichita as the campus where students prepare to become new physicians. But this campus also has its Center for Clinical Research.
Research is just a part of what we do here at KU Wichita. Not only are we training the next generation of doctors, but we're really on the front line of medicine. So when I look at clinical trials, that's when we bring new therapies and new devices to Kansans.
Dr. Tiffany Schweisinger-Schmidt is head of the research unit. She says over the past 30 years, the clinic has participated in numerous studies and trials of new medicines and therapies. But likely none of those can compare to the importance of the study the clinic is conducting now.
So here doing clinical trials, we're really on the forefront of medicine. So we're trying new therapies, we're trying new vaccines, we're trying to end this pandemic and the devastation that we've seen out of this virus. So what I say is it's always exciting to be able to be a part of this, because no matter what the answer is, whether it's our vaccine, whether it's another vaccine, every vaccine that gets out there, we're making that happen.
This clinic is among many in the U.S. and worldwide participating in the study of the Oxford-developed COVID-19 vaccine. The effort here to get involved in the finding of a solution to the pandemic started back in March of 2020.
So we went through the process to be a part of this trial and become one of the 100 sites nationwide that is working on this vaccine study.
She says the clinic is looking at every age group and every ethnicity with the goal to make certain the vaccine is safe and effective for everyone. Participants come to the KU Wichita campus for enrollment or to a mobile unit the center used to enroll candidates.
We've been able to partner with an organization that has a mobile clinic, and we're really looking to the future of how can we bring all the trials that we're conducting here in the Wichita area out to rural Kansas. So Goodland, for example, where I grew up, in western Kansas, which is very, very rural, limited access to resources as far as healthcare. How can we ensure that people living there are getting the care that they need and have the availability to participate in these trials? So by taking mobile units out, we can really be able to bring things to more people, more areas of Kansas, and really be able to give that option to patients.
We called and were enrolled.
Charles and Sarah Lloyd enrolled soon after hearing of the study.
We've had both injections now, yes. And they're taking blood samples every 2 weeks.
And so I had no hesitation at all. Just let's go sign up because I trust them that much.
The Lloyds say they had no reservations about taking the vaccine, but some people don't trust vaccines in general, or specifically a vaccine that's on trial and not yet FDA approved, again, at the time of this reporting.
This is phase 3. They've gone through 2 phases already, checking out, is everything okay? I mean, we're in a mass test now of 30,000 people. If you look at the odds, they've probably got it figured out fairly well right now. And if you look at the odds of at our age contacting COVID versus being part of an advanced study, there's no question that I would volunteer for this type study.
We've tested these thoroughly, so this is nothing new. What we're working on is really being able to help your immune system fight off the virus. We've been doing this for centuries in medicine. I just want to reassure people that vaccines are safe and they are effective. Now, everybody's body's a little bit different. Some people may have some reactions to it, but your healthcare providers are committed to getting you through that. So if you have a reaction, whether it's in a clinical trial or it's just in a physician's clinic in your primary care office, your physician's going to be there to take good care of you.
Sarah Lloyd says she had a reaction to the vaccine.
And I had all the symptoms for the swelling of the site on the second shot, and then I had tremendous headaches, and I was really, really tired for 2 days.
She says she got past those symptoms after a couple of days. Her husband Charles didn't have symptoms.
I had none. So I think I got the placebo, but we don't know. There's no way to know at this point.
He knows the lack of symptoms could mean he got a placebo rather than the actual vaccine. That's because 2 out of 3 participants get the vaccine and 1/3 get a placebo. This is what's called a double-blind trial, meaning neither those who administer the shots nor the participants know which shot they're getting. This is a common method of testing to try to eliminate testing bias.
Now, there are plans from every company that once authorization or approval of the vaccine comes about, everyone within the study will be able to get that vaccine as we're continuing to roll it out to the public as well.
For full disclosure, we were not allowed to be in the room and show the administering of the vaccines. This video shows the vaccine being administered in the United Kingdom, where it had already been approved at the time of this production. The AstraZeneca trial hopes to include 30,000 nationwide. The Center for Clinical Research is hoping to recruit 200 local participants.
So as a participant, their role is really to just come in, answer some questions, make sure that they qualify for the study, because again, we're looking for certain people to be able to make sure that it's safe and effective. So we don't want to do it in people that have unstable medical conditions, for example, because it puts them at risk.
She says participants are regularly checked on.
So I always tell people being in clinical trials is some of the best medical care you're going to receive, because our team will be constantly checking in with people. So over the course of 2 years, participants are going to be here approximately 7 times. If you happen to be in the sub-study, it's going to go up to 9 times.
The AstraZeneca vaccine doesn't require freezer storage, which could allow it to get wider distribution.
They've committed to producing the vaccine at low cost, so it's not going to be a cost burden to countries that are producing it. And it's stable for 6 hours at room temperature, up to 6 months in a common refrigerator. So this is a vaccine that's going to go to your primary care offices. More importantly, this is the vaccine that are going to go to very rural and remote areas. So here within the U.S. as well as worldwide. So people that don't have ultra cold storage, we can get it out to them, we can protect them soon.
Reports show the AstraZeneca vaccine costing about $4 per dose compared to other vaccines costing $15 to $25 per dose. Folks like Charles and Sarah Lloyd and Jorge Rodriguez feel like they're playing a part in trying to end this pandemic by participating in this study. The AstraZeneca vaccine has been granted emergency use listing by the World Health Organization for a 2-dose vaccination to prevent COVID-19 for those 18 and over, including those over 65. Health regulators have approved its use in several countries, including the United Kingdom, India, and across Europe. At the time of this production, AstraZeneca had not submitted paperwork for U.S. approval.
Will this end the pandemic?
It's my hope. It is my hope that this will stop this virus. And we know that having vaccines, preventative measures, when we look at the entire history of medicine, we know that the more we can prevent, the better we do, the healthier people are. So by getting this preventative measure, all these vaccines out to the public, getting that protection out there, we hope that we will be able to stop this pandemic.
The great challenge now is getting the vaccine into the arms of a large portion of the public without extensive delays so a desired herd immunity can be achieved. Only then can life return to something close to what we call normal. This is Chris Frank reporting for Positively Kansas.
KU health professionals will continue to follow up and assess the participants over a 2-year period. Now to some healthy fresh air in the Kansas outdoors. It's called Kerwin Wildlife Refuge. And in this week's Kansas Wild Edge report, Mike Blair shows us why this out-of-the-way place is especially fun to visit in the winter.
There's a wildlife hideaway in northwestern Kansas that you probably haven't seen. It's Kerwin National Wildlife Refuge, and it's one of those places you never end up unless you deliberately go there. This area, nearly 11,000 acres, is one of Kansas' premier wildlife viewing sites. And in recent years, it's sometimes been winter home to nearly 1 million waterfowl. Located in Phillips County with comfortable amenities in Phillipsburg just 15 miles away, Kerwin provides an outdoors getaway where you'll see virtually no one else. Just the solitude of the prairie and its wild inhabitants. Big and small game, fur bearers and predators, non-game wildlife, and a spectrum of bird species grace this beautiful area. Take a look at just a few of the scenes I filmed there in just over 1 day of cruising and watching the reservoir and its surrounding grasslands. Mike Blair for Positively Kansas.
From fauna to flora and a warmer, greener time of year, a Kansas woman has turned her hobby into a business that brings beauty into the lives of Kansans. At the height of the late summer bloom, she told photojournalist Ben Lafine all about it.
We came up with the name Mockingbird Flower Farm because the mockingbird would sit in the tree and sing to us in the spring when it was time to start planting. We moved the house out here on 5 acres near Anthony, Kansas. I just always felt like that a bouquet of flowers was something I could do and provide for the care homes and local restaurants. And then my hobby became a little extreme. And after semi-retiring from education, I was like, can't we, if this little flower garden is doing well on this side of the house, can't I expand to the other side? Now we deliver buckets of flowers all over. I have a couple local florists that enjoy my buckets of flowers, local restaurants. I also deliver to Wichita to a couple restaurants, Watermark Books and Tanya's Soup Kitchen. And I'm kind of picky about who gets my buckets of my girls. And we've been known to go to the Bluegrass Festival in Winfield, and they've been really kind. And we enjoy farmers markets as well. And we also encourage the local schools to bring out groups for educational purposes. Every year is definitely different. And we've had a lot of rain. And usually by now in August, I'm usually struggling with the water, and my grass and everything is dry. And you can tell that the sunflowers are towering, and I'm definitely not having to water as much. There are several other flower farms in Kansas, but I think most of those are more in the up by Lawrence, so I think I'm kind of unique. I've had groups of up to 25 come out for either a nature walk, or we do some birding here as well on the farm, or they can just cut a bucket of flowers and enjoy time here in the garden. Mockingbird Flower Farm on Facebook.
The delicate beauty of flowers lasts only a short time, but the art of a Yoder family in Burton can last a lifetime and beyond. Anthony Powell shows us how the family business is cemented in tradition.
Seems like some of the most unique businesses are found in small towns. That's certainly the case in Burton, Kansas, where for nearly 40 years, family-owned Yoder Ornamental Concrete has been producing hundreds and hundreds of various statue pieces for homes, businesses, and even cities, including Wichita.
Well, granted, benches are good, fountains, bird baths.
Animals are another very popular item, says Don Yoder, who joined his parents in the business back in 1988. Don wears a lot of hats, but spends most of his time pouring molds. The first step in producing all of the many creations you see scattered about the massive building that houses Yoder Ornamental Concrete.
It's hard work. Do you ever get tired? Do you ever get burned out? Or
not yet.
You know how he looks now, so I'm going to try to make him smoother.
Don has to pace himself in order to keep up with his 82-year-old mother, Polly, who is in charge of smoothing and finishing the molds before they're ready for painting.
Make sure that the nose gets filled in good and the mouth.
Polly and her late husband started the business in 1983. They took a crash course in creating statues from a relative after they decided to close up their TV repair shop.
Well, it was a time where TVs were starting to throw away. They weren't repairing them anymore. And so we knew, it's just going to go to the wayside.
The couple and their son steadily grew the statue business, and at one time, Yoder Ornamental Concrete employed nearly 30 people. But after 9/11, business slowed significantly, and in the subsequent years, jobs had to be cut, or employees left for other reasons and weren't replaced. Now it's only family members putting in long hours.
But it's not just mom and son doing all the work. There's a third member of this family affair business, Don's wife Doris, who, as you can see, lends her painting skills to the business.
The Yoders say this is definitely a labor of love business. They're not getting rich, but they say there's no way to put a price on the joy their customers receive from the statues. Now more than ever, with so many people spending more time at home.
People like to sit on their patios and have their coffee and listen to the sound of running water. Bird baths, people like watching the birds, they like watching the squirrels.
And knowing how much pleasure their creations have brought so many folks over the years keeps the Yoders going strong.
I just can't sit in front of TV and watch soap operas. It's just not me. I gotta keep active.
In Burton, Kansas, I'm Anthony Powell for Positively Kansas.
Although the business has a website, the Yoders love it when people stop by in person to get a real feel for the work they do and have a nice chat. So if you're in the area, feel free to drop by at 110 West Dean in downtown Burton. Well, that's a wrap for this week. Email us at positivelykansas@kpts.org if you have a story idea. We're always looking. I'm Sierra Scott. We'll see you again soon.
Program support provided by the F. Price Kosman Memorial Trust, Entrust Bank Trustee, bringing you the Kansas Wild Edge segments on Positively Kansas.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas serves more than 930,000 Kansans in various programs. Independent, member-owned. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, an independent licensee of Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association, supports KPTS.
Before investing your hard-earned money, make sure your financial advisor understands your objectives. Mark Douglas, CFP, serving our community for over 20 years, providing customized financial solutions that focus on the individual.